Good morning. It's time for Morning Oasis. I'm going to give it a minute while you guys come in, and I'm going to get out some cards. You know those days when you come home from having been gone for a while and your house is like a wreck, and you've only been gone like one night, and you're like, how did it get to be such a mess? That's my house today. Feels like such a mess. But that's okay. It happens, right? It happens to the best of us. I hope you guys had a good weekend, actually, and that you guys are all alive and well and happy and loving and joyous and struggling and surviving and breaking and all of those things, because that's just where we're at as a race right now, as humanity. I guess a lot of you had trouble yesterday finding Morning Oasis, which is kind of interesting. So I thought what I would do is I have this cedar sap, and I'm going to go ahead and put it right in front and see if we can't clear out anything that blocks anybody from coming in. Let's see. We have some announcements. Let me get my little notebook because I don't remember anything. I'm horrible. Okay, so actually I'm just right. So we've got the next event is this weekend. It's this Saturday. It's the Emerald Spiral Fair up in Kent, Washington. If you're in the area, it's a big fair. It's lots of people. I think there's like over 100 different vendors and readers and intuitives and psychics. I will be there, and I'm going to be sharing a booth with another woman, Kirsten, who she's just one of those powerful, gifted, self-taught, and taught by the world psychic intuitives who does readings, and she's got some jewelry. I'm going to have Shauna's jewelry up there. Shauna makes some really beautiful stuff. They're all angelically inspired and divinely created. It's pretty beautiful work. I love to give her stuff as gifts to people. Usually it's like it just calls to you, it speaks to you. I have it all downstairs all packed up because we leave in 2 days, so I don't have it available right now to show you, but that's March 25th in Kent, Washington, the Emerald Spiral Fair, and it's from 9 to 5 p.m. Then with the Intuitive Gallery, the group that I've been working with for a long time, we're doing a panel. So it's Kirsten, myself, Heather Smith. Heather is an Akashic reader. She's built a whole program called the Akashic College. She teaches people how to come forward instead of living in their past life stuff. And then Lorelei Shimiano, who is the organizer of the Metaphysical Gallery, she is a intuitive eye reader, and she's really interesting. She looks in your eyes. If you're going to come and get a reading from her, it's best to bring some pictures of your family members so she can see back in your hierarchical life. And God, it's like I've got a hair or something in my eye. It's driving me crazy. Sorry for digging in my eye, but whatever. So the four of us are doing a panel called Spring Clean Your Soul to Ignite Freedom and Power. That's going to be at New Renaissance Event Center on March 31st. That's a Friday evening from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. And the panels, the way that works is, you just pay one price. I think it's like $10 or $20. I can't remember how much the tickets are. There's an event on my Facebook page, and later today, will post all that stuff, all of this on my website, so you guys can all see what's going on. You guys can submit questions, you guys can write concerns, challenges, and you can pick if you want one of us to answer. We all kind of give our feedback on what we view or see as issues or challenges, and then we pick one person from the audience who, at random, you'll fill out something, and we just draw your little slips from from a bowl, and that person gets a free session with one of the four of us, and you get to pick which one of the four of us you get that session with. So it's a pretty cool experience, actually. We've done one before as the four of us, and it was awesome. So I encourage you guys to come if you're in the Portland area. And then we have another psychic gallery, and now they're actually calling it the Metaphysical Arts Gallery, which is that group plus many others. Hey, Sue. Hey, Eric. So that's going to be at a new place that we've never been at before, and I'm super excited. It's called Vibrant Studios. The address is 1532 Southwest Jefferson, so it's just right up there in Goose Hollow, just across the river. That's going to be April 1st. That's the next Saturday, and that's from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. There's going to be, I think, 10 or 11 readers at that one. I'm super excited because my friend Brian is joining us, and Brian is he's a dragon master. He's medically intuitive. He's a gifted worker too. So lots of really neat people will be there. There's also going to be a pet psychic there. So if you have an animal and you're having struggles with them, they are right there for you. So I don't have any reads written down for today. I don't have any requests. So I'm going to just kind of chat a little bit and see if anybody would like to request a card pull for today. And if you want to request, then go ahead and do so. I hope you guys liked yesterday. I know it's not common for me to have somebody else on with me. I love having someone else on with me. It's just hard to align schedules. So if you guys like that and you want me to be a little more proactive about it, I can work on that and see if we can't get somebody else for next Friday or start working that out. I told Brian he's due on the morning Oasis. So, yeah, we have 3 slots open for card pulls today if anybody wants them. And, you know, there's been a lot of positive feedback about the conversation that's kind of continuing through from a post that I put up. I believe I put the post up on Friday. Was it Friday? Yeah, I think it was Friday. And it was talking about empaths and talking about empathic nature and what's really going on with empaths and is it really even something that we should be distinguishing ourselves as separate from the rest because we are? Most of the talk and conversation has been positive. There was a few people who felt like it was an unfair attack on empaths, who felt like it was unjust and unfair to judge and diminish and attack empaths when they are just trying to do their best, and an exclamation about how hard it is to be an empath. And I think the one thing I want to say, you don't have to be forgiven. The one thing that I have to say about that is that we're all empathic. It's an aspect of the human vessel. It's kind of like, some people say I can't draw. Well, you may not be able to draw like Mozart can compose, or like Picasso can create these unique expressions that everybody is drawn to, but you can at least draw a stick figure. You can write. Your hand can do so. And anyone, the more you practice something, the better you get. I couldn't draw. I couldn't draw at all. And when I started doing clothing design, I had to figure out how to draw so that I could design out my pieces, my garments, have an idea of what was happening, playing with fabrics and textures. And the more I practiced, the better it got. And the same is true for empathic nature. It's like when people say they can't sing. You have a voice, right? You speak. I think the only people that couldn't possibly sing are mute, right? And even then, they can make sound. They can make sound with other instruments, with other things. We all have the ability to be empathic. And exactly, observation is not judgment. Perfect comment, Jessie. Thank you. So if you felt really judged by that, if you felt, like I said, like you got your empathic toe stubbed, remember, this is not to point out what's wrong with empaths or that there's something wrong with them. the point of that was to get people to stop romanticizing empaths and all of this communication that's out there that puts it up so that they use it as a platform of superiority. I'm empathic, so your energy is upsetting me. Your behavior, your actions, your interactions, what you're putting out is negatively impacting me. Well, that's your responsibility. That's you, right? That's your job to figure out how to maintain, how to manage your energy. Oh, I'm so glad you love it, Misty. It's interesting. Facebook seems to be hiding when it's streaming lately. I had a couple people say they couldn't even find it yesterday at all. So my best advice is it comes on at 10 o'clock every weekday morning. If it's not going to be on, I will, at a minimum, post something with a reason as to why. I think since I've been doing it, I've only ever canceled twice, and that was, or maybe 3 times, and those were all in relationship to my son's broken hand, right? When he broke it and we were in the ER until 4:30 in the morning. No, I did not show up for morning Oasis. And then the other 2 times were for when it was his appointments for seeing his surgeon, which I have no control over those. And then it was off for a week when I took a vacation. So some of them do these things to say that they do these things. Seems to be a gross overgeneralization, but it's not you, so maybe I misheard. Once I was lost, but now I'm fine. Hi, Guru Dan. Okay, so, the thing about empathic nature is all that really is tapping into the collective, tapping into the unity consciousness. And for those who are exceptionally gifted, just like Mozart was exceptionally gifted to be able to hear sound, translate that into music that was then able to be reread and reperformed by others that made you feel and emote these emotions. There are going to be those who do feel it more. It's not about being more sensitive or less sensitive. It's not a punishment to be an empath, and it's also not like this super unique gift. Mozart was tortured. Most people who have those gifts of, the extreme ability in one single focus, those prodigies, they have a lot of struggle around that gift, around presenting it, around being able to escape from it. So it's really, really about how do I, as an individual, take responsibility for the unique individuation I manifest as and not hold others accountable for it. My husband also says a phrase, and it just keeps popping into my head. He's like, Jessie, you can be you can have empathy and compassion for somebody, but you do not have to be a part of their solution. So if somebody is coming to you and saying your energy is off, or you've done such and such, you've created such and such an environment for me to endure, recognize all they're really saying is, I don't have control over myself, and I want you to control yourself so that I don't have to. That's what's going on there. And you can have empathy for them and recognize, oh yeah, it's hard when you feel that way. That's a hard way to feel. That's a hard way to walk through the world. I'm sorry that you were impacted that way. But you do not have to change yourself. You do not have to become different in order for them to become more comfortable, unless you don't like what that is in the first place and you find it resonates within you. So that's kind of all I'll say about that. I realized Justine asked me, let's see, on the flip side, how do we respond to those who meet that elitist romanticized version which you address? Okay, how do you respond to one of those? That's the hard one. That's when you have to feel out while you're in the moment, right? So if you are encountering somebody who is using their elite empathic nature to have a power over you situation, the first thing to do is to just walk away. You can't shift or change them. Good morning, Shauna. You can't fix them. You can't change the way they see things. All you can do is thank them for letting you know that that's how they play in the world, and that when they're ready to not blame you for how they're feeling, that they'd be welcome to find you. You can, if you feel, some people enjoy the conflict, some people enjoy having that sparring. I'm not a sparrer. I don't enjoy it. So when I find myself interacting with somebody who has this elitist view of I am more empathic than you, and I have this feeling and sense that you can't even understand, I'm always like, oh wow, that's awesome. I'm really impressed by that. You know what? I forgot some things on the burner. I'm going to go. I have to go to the bathroom. I've had an upset stomach all day. It's kind of hitting me now. That's what I do. I don't believe it's my job to fix anybody. I don't believe it's my job to tell anyone how to behave differently. Now, that said, as a teacher, I do teach empathic awareness and empathic hygiene. It's part of the Life Mastery series. It's in every single one of the classes, and the very last class is how to round it all out, and we cover all what's left. So if one is attempting to seek out and find how to be in better control, of their empathic nature, when one is wanting that, then I'm wide open, and I'm like, here I am. I would be happy to tell you how I gained better control over my empathic nature and the tools and techniques I have found that have worked for my students, friends, colleagues, all of that. So there's a big difference between how do we handle somebody who's being elite, who's being superior, and how do we handle somebody who's seeking to truly understand and gain a sense of empowerment over something that they feel powerless about. Also, what that reminds me of is the elitism. We can't fix elitism. All we can do is use it as the most perfect and beautiful example and illustration for us to re-evaluate, re-examine the self. What parts of it triggered your own ego? What parts of it triggered your own sense of superiority? What parts of it triggered your own sense of inferiority? They are serving us. When somebody comes up and does that, we have an option. We have a choice of how we're going to respond, how we're going to react. I was just talking with a friend last night. Over the weekend, my husband and I, earlier before I left, we went out to dinner, and this woman was furious with me for parking right behind her. She was calling me all sorts of cuss words and an idiot and telling me I lack common sense, and she was furious with me when she was the one who did something in the first place that was really inappropriate. And I was quick to respond, to jump up and move my car so she could move out when she parked in such a way, taking up 3 handicap parking spaces. So my choice, one, I would have long ago become completely defeated and felt judged and felt diminished. And instead, I was surprised to see that my response was this irritation, frustration, like, who the bleep are you to talk to me like that? Like, who the bleep are you? And also there were a lot of other behaviors she displayed in the restaurant that were just like awful to be exposed to. So I was surprised by my initial response of irritation, anger, frustration, self-righteousness, judgment. And I chose, okay, that's not going to get me anywhere. So this is an opportunity for me to evaluate myself better and to see clearly what this behavior looks like, to observe myself. So we're always being served by these people. It may not be how they want to serve us. She wanted to make sure I knew what an idiot I was. And a part of me wanted to make sure she knew what an idiot she was. And just seeing that, I just had to pull back. And as my friend reminded me, I had to be able to look at her with a loving eye. And so last night, after talking with him, and you can out yourself if you'd like to, I always out you. After talking with him, I laid back and I did some, I focused on it in meditation. And I was like, how can I look at her with a loving eye? How can I see her lovingly, compassionately? How can I witness that whole family? There was a whole family, you. And how can I witness them in a different light and see where they're actually at? And see that, and then I could, one of the things that she was doing in the restaurant that was really uncomfortable was she was talking about really loudly her meth addiction and how she was clean from meth for the last year, but that she wasn't sober, and she certainly wasn't sober there. And it made me really think about, okay, what does meth addiction really look like? Well, that's somebody who can't escape their feelings, so their feelings of depression and downness and sadness. So they take meth because it gives them this high, it releases the serotonin, it makes them feel better, it makes them feel alive, makes them feel full of life, right? But if they become an addict to meth, that means that they can only feel that way when they have the meth. So she's somebody who struggles with feeling alive, right? She struggles with chemical imbalance. She struggles with feeling loved, feeling of value, feeling seen, right? So here's this person who struggles with feeling seen, and she is doing everything she can to make sure the entire space sees her. And then I was able to view her with compassion. So there's always an opportunity and there's always a lesson. Now, Justine, you asked me for a card pull. I forget what it was about exactly, but I'm going to pull that now because I'm done talking about that, and we still have a little bit of time before we get into what I also wanted to talk about. Okay. So Justine, you got the 8 of Pentacles. Now, when I first pulled it out, it was inverted. This is from the Shadowscapes Tarot. So the 8 of Pentacles, this card, see how the spider's web is full of food? It's full. She's really good at what she does. She's good at collecting the bounty and the harvest. She's good at wrapping it, encasing it, and saving it for when it's necessary. You're not feeling so good at what you do right now. So it's time to look at the results, look at the bounty that you have acquired, that you have accumulated, and allow that to tell you whether or not you're doing good or you're not the internal dialogue that's going through your head that's limiting you and diminishing you. That's what I'm getting for a card pull for you. I hope that helps. The Pentacles are always going to be about the physical world, usually money, housing, like where you live, what you're doing, how you're spending it, all of that kind of stuff. So that's that. Today, what we're going to, I didn't get any other requests for card pulls, so I'm going to move on, and it's time. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about, Sue posted or sent me something to post, a picture of a butterfly emerging with its rainbow wings and talking, I think it said something about, your time as a caterpillar is done. It's time, your wings are ready for you. And I think that's where we're at right now. I think that's totally right on point with what's going on, what we're feeling energetically. And I thought, why don't we talk a little bit about that? We often create these like cocoons around ourselves, this energetic protection shell that shields us. I know, right? It was so beautiful, Shauna. And it shields us from everything that we think is going to damage us during our growth and development. And when we start to emerge, what we forget is to open up that chrysalis, that cocoon that we've been hidden behind and hidden within. Yesterday, if you were able to watch the meditation, I know a lot of you guys got to it after the fact, especially with the problems with the announcements. And if you were able to listen, we did it was all guided. I had no idea what the meditation would be as normal. But the meditation ended up being a DNA rewriting by Source for this transition into 5D. And what happened to me after that was, I don't even know how to put it into words. It was painful. It was a cracking open, and I think that's why it happened after the show for me. I'm guessing that, yeah, it's time for me to support you guys in that cracking open. So I was with Shauna and her daughter. We went out to lunch at Nancy's Burgers. Oh my gosh, that was so yummy. That was so yummy. And then we decided to go look around at Tuesday morning. And it was interesting because Tuesday morning didn't have a very good feel to it. And I normally enjoy going through Tuesday morning. This time I did not have an enjoyable time. There was no supportive or kind employees or staff, and yet another person tried to make me feel stupid, right? She told me, we need to have some patience. And it was like, huh, interesting. And I just was like, whatever, you're standing at a register and you're saying hello, like I'm ready to help you. And I'm asking, do you want me to hand stuff over? Because this is kind of a hard place to transition things from my basket to you. And she goes, no, we need to have some patience. This register's broken. So it was kind of like one of those moments where, interesting. And all three of us had a different experience of viewing her and a different experience with each other. So anyway, while I'm standing there, I felt this kind of crack in my crown. It literally felt like somebody put a bone, those bone separators in and cracked it open. And then I felt like a crack in my third eye, and this crescent shape appeared over my vision, and it cut right through the center of my vision. And it looked like in that crescent, I was looking through a prismatic rainbow kaleidoscope. And then that crack opened up. I know, right? And then that crack opened up until it was like this ring around everything. And then the ring filled in. And it was like if I tried to look straight on at anything, I was seeing this kaleidoscope of rainbow reflective mirroring overlaid over everything else that was in front that I could see. And I was still able to process, I could enter my card pin number. I could find the slot to slide it, right? I could find the exit for the store, which I took a beeline for. I could get to my car, and really, I walked right out of the store. I didn't even wait for Shauna or her daughter to finish paying for what they were getting. I was like, out. And I went outside to see if it was something inside the store that was giving me this. I was like, a part of me was like, am I having a seizure? Am I having a stroke? What's wrong with me? Because I've never experienced anything like that before. And it kept opening until it was my entire field of view. And I still kind of have it a little bit, but it's like my brain has learned how to process it now. So it's not so distinguished, kind of like when you're looking through water at first, your brain's confused by the way the light gets broken up by the movement of the water currents. And then as your brain begins to adjust and understand, you can see more clearly. That was exactly what was happening with this vision in my eyes. And so we had to also go to Petco. We both her daughter and I, her daughter has guinea pigs and I got a bunny. So we both needed some stuff from Petco. And we went into the store, and it just was getting worse and worse and more extreme. And I was more distracted, and suddenly everyone's wanting to talk to me. The employees are wanting to talk to me. They're wanting to talk to me about my bunny, about my hair, and I'm just my brain is... I can't really even track it. And I'm like, listen, all I really want is some alfalfa pellets. Do you have them or do you not? That's all I want to know. No, I don't want to talk about what that means. Yes, I know that, blah, blah, blah. It was the hardest thing to get out of there. And so when I got back into the car, Sean was like, do you want me to drive? And I'm like, no, I feel like I need to drive. I'm okay to drive. And I was fine to drive. And it actually helped to kind of lighten things up on the vision a little bit. But then all of a sudden it felt like my throat was being cracked open. And I realized this is just coming right down the chakras, right down that column. And it kept going. So we got back to her house, and my intention was to drop her and her daughter off and get my stuff and head home. I wanted to try and be home before it was true. So I wanted to get home or get back to Sean. I wanted to get home before my son got home from school. But that wasn't going to happen either. I needed to allow this to finish, and they're like, well, you can be driving, but this is what it'll be like if you're driving while this is happening. And so I got back to Shauna's house, and I'm like trying to sit there, and I'm just trying to do other things and distract myself. And she's like, you're resisting it, and that's making it worse. You just need to lay back, and you need to let this happen. And I'm just like, because I don't like pain. And so as soon as I laid back, it continued right down the column, right down. It went into my heart. I felt like I was having a heart attack. Felt like somebody was splitting open my rib cage. It went down into each chakra, all the way down. And as soon as it hit my root, I was out. And I don't even know. Did I sleep for like an hour or two? I think I slept for like 2 hours. It was 4 something. It was like 2 something when we got there. It was like 4 something when I finally woke up. And that was intense. And since then, I have felt like more whole. I feel like, I think what occurred is that now I feel myself in both that 5D expression as well as the 3D expression. I feel this duality and a unity. And that's uncommon for me, honestly. I usually feel like I'm either in one or the other. So let's see, Jessie wrote, they were drawn unconsciously to her inward focus, open space for the ego id of those around her. Yeah, that's probably also very true, Jessie. It was definitely it was an experience. So yeah, that was basically what happened there, and it was intense. And so I don't know if other of you, and the skipping of the upgrade, Jessie, I don't know how to put that. I'm not hearing clear answers on it yet, and as soon as I do, I will share them with you. And if I hear anybody talking about it, I will share that with you. But so yeah, that was what had happened yesterday after the upgrade. The DNA definitely was rewriting, definitely opening up new things for me. So today's been kind of a rambly thing, and I think it's time to just transition, and let's see what we can accomplish in meditation today. Let's see what we can accomplish as far as continuing this opening of our chakras, continuing this transition space, and let's see if we can't find an answer, Jessie. You have as much, if not more, communication and clarity with both Gaia and the raw consciousness that's guiding us right now. So I'd love to know what you have to say. And maybe today, since we're starting meditation early, we'll stop at 50 after and take that 10 minutes, and everybody can talk about what it is that they experienced. You can also sign off at that point and continue in the meditation as normal for as long as you feel guided to do so. So that all said, let's go ahead and make sure we're getting comfortable. Release yourself from what's going on around you. I keep feeling called to use some of these essential oils, so I'm going to pull those out. I'm also feeling called, this is something else that I've been both seeing a repeat of and hearing a repeat of, is clear quartz. If you have any clear quartz points, or clear quartz around you, here's a good quartz point you can use, cluster that you can tune into. If you don't have anything, you can go ahead and start tuning into this one to support you. I'm going to hold a few pieces of clear quartz. Quartz is what our planet is pretty much made of. It's the most bountiful and the predominant mineral or makeup of minerals in our planet. So we all resonate at quartz frequency as a pure frequency. It's a reset of our pure frequency. So I'm going to have these around, and I'm also going to use, I'm hearing some sweet orange and eucalyptus. So I'm going to put, if you don't have any essential oils, or you can get an orange if you have one, or you could just tune into the vibrations that I'm going to be putting out. You're welcome to tune into me. I'm going to be smelling it in just a moment after I blend it. When I'm blending oils for myself, I just drop the drops into my palm and blend them. And you don't need a lot. Usually it's like 1 drop of each. I use my compass to know how many to use. And I'm also going to be using a smoky quartz point to help keep everything grounded, really connected into that grounded energy, the consciousness of the earth as well, because we're going to be connecting and grounding. Ah, very good. And I don't know if you were here, Sue, but I've got cedar sap right here that I'm using to try to help keep the connection nice and strong and clear. I've never put eucalyptus and orange together. So when you're using just a self diffuser, you're rubbing your palms together to heat the oil, help release it. And our palms and our feet are where nerve endings are. So we release and we absorb. All right. So go ahead and take a few moments, a few deep breaths. Get comfortable, whether you're laying or sitting. I want you to imagine yourself grounded, feeling those roots growing down. And Jessie, we talked about possibly doing a meditation today. We're going to do that one tomorrow. This one needs to happen first. All right, so feel those roots growing down, connecting into Gaia, into the earth, spreading them wide and deep. Allowing yourself to tap root down into the heart of Gaia, into the heart of that crystalline sphere, down into where it's hot magma and pressure. Everything transitions and changes. Everything transmutes into what's most supportive. Allowing those roots to extend out the other side, all the way through the planet. As you tap into this electromagnetic field of the earth, bringing the roots back up and around, back to your feet. And allowing that Gaia energy to come up through the body. Up through the legs and hips. Release the idea that you don't know what the next step is. Just let go. It's okay. Bringing it up through the hips and abdomen. Up through the chest and shoulders, down the arms. Notice how quickly we're going. I want you guys to start seeing how quick this can actually happen for you. So you can let go of the idea that you have to devote hours. I mean, it's a good idea, but you don't have to. Bring that energy back up into the throat and head. Allowing it to bundle at the top of the crown as the crown opens. In response to this Gaia energy, sending that energy up and out into Source, following your line, connecting you effortlessly and gracefully right back into the heart of Source. Allowing that light of Source to shine back down through the crown, back down through the head, back down through the throat, out the shoulders and down the arms, all the way to the fingertips. And looping back up, Coming back up to that shoulders and dropping into that chest. Down into the abdomen. Down into this root space, into the seat. Down through the thighs and down out the feet. Sending that source energy out into Gaia. And I want you to see the tree that you are grounded within. See that whole tree. See how you are all of it. You are the leaf of the tree gathering the light. You are the branch of the tree sprouting the leaves. You are the limb of the tree supporting the canopy. You are the trunk of the tree giving strength and reach. You are the roots of the tree. As you send those roots out, you are the space that's digging between the ground and the earth. You are the funguses that surround and feed the tree. Just see how you are the full system. And now I want you to find where on your tree the limb that you focus on, the life with which you focus, the part of that tree, the limb that is the expression you live now. Allow that expression, that limb, to become the main part of that tree. As you trim away and release all the other micro expressions, all the other pathways, all the other limbs that do not serve this tree. And because your tree is infinite and abundant, it is not being damaged by this process. It's being shaped like a beautiful bonsai, given focus and intention, allowance to express itself as it truly is, not how it grew wild, with everything around it. Begin trimming your tree into that perfect expression, allowing each of the cuts as you take away foliage that is not supportive of the limb, that true main life you're living. Allow those cuts to become beautiful, these beautiful knots of release. Just allow them. As you take note of these shifts and changes in the vessel, in your energy, in your thoughts, memories, or beliefs, just view them. Don't try to fix them, don't try to change them. View them until they dissipate. And every piece that you take off, every cut, every removed part of wood, leaf, limb, is effortlessly and gracefully going up into source, harvested, so that source can fuel and learn and grow. And just as we bonsai the top, we're also going to clean out the root structure below, because we no longer need to support and ground all of the multiplicity of the expression. We're going for the singularity. Be the arborist of your tree, creating perfect health, balance, and unity of this tree. We're going to take off all those suckers that divide the energy of the tree, that divert it, that weaken it actually by having too many possibilities, too many limbs. Those trees, if allowed to continue, split. When the weight of the snow comes, they split open. Limbs rip off in violent and destructive ways. So we're going to go through and trim our tree so it's healthy and strong, and it can endure the pressure and the weight of this transition and change. You guys are very, very good at this. Now I want you to see that limb, your tree now, your healthy, groomed, fresh tree. See how it's starting to already blossom and grow this new growth, this new life of allowance that couldn't have happened if all the energy was diverted into trying to maintain all the rest of the tree. And I want you to find on that tree the little cocoon that's hanging. Find your cocoon. Your chrysalis. See that chrysalis growing. They actually kind of swell up a little bit as the creature inside is changing. Inside that chrysalis, the caterpillar has gone into complete mush, right? It's almost unidentifiable. And it begins to emerge as something new. And we can just start to see through the thin, translucent walls of that chrysalis that something is happening. Something more solid is moving inside. We can see that it's growing and that the cocoon is starting to get stressed by this growth. And now we can see that cocoon splitting open as out emerges the butterfly. Its wings are wet and folded and crumpled. Its body feels bent. But as it comes out and breathes this air and gets exposed to the sun that's shining down upon it, the wings begin to unfold. Feel your wings unfolding, spreading out. Move them as you dry them in the air. Feel your body puffing and extending, taking its full shape, its full self. Feel your antennae opening as they breathe and smell and test out this new experience. Feel your legs strengthening as they learn to hold the weight of this new body. Feel your wings growing stronger and drier as they begin to be coated with this magical dust that keeps them alift in the air. This See them flap until you take flight. And allow yourself to fly. Free of all the laws of gravity that have kept you inhibited, that have kept you stuck. Okay? Free to fly with each other, to fly on your own, to find and seek the nourishment that is most valuable, most beneficial to you, rather than make do with what is there. You never again will be stuck or anchored in place, because you now are free. And when you need a place to land, all of our trees are safe. All the trees are grounded in the forest of humanity. You can also easily find your own tree when you need to express as an individuation. Now, if you'd like to continue and fly in your butterfly, go ahead and leave. Turn off your device, lay back, and let yourself soar or flutter. But if you'd like to talk about and share what your experience was, share what happened, come back now. Come and land on my tree. It's a great big willow. A pussy willow. Little soft nubs. It's going to be hard, isn't it? Yeah. I have a feeling that many of us are going to continue flying, feeling our wings. I want all of you to remember you're magically divine beings. You came here to soar through the creation. It's time to allow yourself to release the burdens of that heavy body that was necessary in order to create your cocoon, that was necessary in order to come into a space of understanding and wholeness within which you could transition. But now you can break free of that cocoon and be the butterfly. I love you guys. That was an awesome meditation. I'm excited to sit and listen and receive it myself more easily than when guiding it. I would love to hear about what your guys' wings look like. If anyone feels like drawing them, I'd love to see that. I'm so grateful for you all, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.